Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Subiakto, and today I'm gonna present and be honored to present my thesis titled "The Balancing of Growth and Governance" on how faculty performance metrics shape the evolution of the student organization and the Faculty of Economics and Business in Universitas Gadjah Mada. So let's dive into it. So this presentation will guide us through the following sections. The first one is the introduction, second one is the literature review, third one is methodology, the fourth one is the findings and the discussion, the fifth one is the closing statement. So the first one, there will be the first one is research background and the second one is the research questions. So in Indonesia, the implementation of the performance accountability system, or as we know, is SAKIP, through the presidential instructions number 7 in the year of 1999, requires the public universities to align with national performance goals. However, the adoption of PMS frameworks creates more challenges for student organizations. So these voluntary groups designed to foster leadership, creativity, and engagement will face increasing administrative burdens, shifting their focus from developmental activities to compliance. So the study will aim to understand the impact of DPMS on these organizations, particularly at the FEB UGM. Okay, moving on to the question. So the objective of these research are to analyze on how DPMS compliance influences the key outcomes like the organizational growth, governance effectiveness, the member engagement, and the transaction cost. So the study will address the following question. The first one is, does the PMS compliance frameworks positively impact the organizational growth and development of the student organization of FEBUGM? The second one is there any positive relationship between the PMS-driven governance practices and the effectiveness of the student leadership within these organizations? The third one is, do the transaction costs associated with PMS compliance reduce the engagement and participation of the student members in voluntary organizations at FEBUGM? And the fourth one is, does the bureaucratization of student organizations under the PMS frameworks hinder their ability to foster leadership development, creativity, and peer collaboration? So the second chapter is the literature review. So the first one we will discuss the theoretical framework, moving on to the conceptual, and the last one is hypothesis. So this is the theoretical framework. To frame the study, I think I use three key theoretical perspectives. The first one is, as we know, institutional theory. So this will explain on how the external pressures force organizations to adopt more uniform practices for legitimacy, potentially will leading to goal displacement. And the second theory is the NPM, or as we know, like the new public management. So this will more emphasize more on the accountability and the efficiency, but I think it will introduce rigidity that can limit the creativity of the organization itself. The last one is the TCE, or the transaction economics. This will highlight the administrative burdens from the PMS compliance that will divert the resources from leadership and the engagement activities. So these are the chart for the theoretical framework. So moving on to the conceptual. The conceptual framework will examine the PMS compliance as the driving factor to influence four key outcomes. The first one is the organizational growth. The second one is the governance effectiveness. The third one is the member engagement. Sorry. And the fourth one is the transaction cost. So, well, PMS, I think will foster growth and governance. It will also increases the cost and the challenges towards the flexibility needed for the developmental goals. So these are the four hypotheses. The first one is increasing frequency and intensity of PMS compliance activities will lead to higher transaction costs for the student organizations. The second hypothesis is the higher the transaction cost from the PMS compliance will negatively impact leadership development, organizational creativity, and the member engagement. The third one is the internal governance effectiveness moderates the relationship between PMS compliance and the organizational outcomes. This specifically leadership, effectiveness, and peer collaboration. The fourth one is the bureaucratization induced by PMS framework has a detrimental effect on the leadership development. So, and the creativity also, and the student or engagement in the voluntary organization. The third one, we will move to the methodology of the research. The research methodology is adopting a quantitative cross-sectional survey approach. So the first one, we will discuss about the population. So the population is the active members of the FEB UGM student organizations that will include such like Imagama, Himespa, BEM FEB UGM, and the BPM. And how do I collect the data? The answer is I will do survey covering the PMS compliance, organizational growth, and other variables. And how do I transcribe the survey into the analysis? I will use the SPSS for the quantitative analysis. Okay, moving on to the survey items alignment and the research flow method. As we can see here, and on the left hand side, there are the research questions and the items, and the right hand side, there are the research flow method. Moving on to the chapter 4, the findings and the discussions. So, okay, moving on to the first analysis, the respondent profile. So, the data for the study was collected from 201 respondents. So, here are the key characteristics. So, the first most respondent were members of the BEM FEB and other leading student organizations. So respondents were primarily from the management and accounting disciplines. This results in the numeric numbers on the faculty itself, and these are on the peran or maybe like the how long the student in the organization has joined the student organization, and the fourth one is how long they have been involved in within the organization. And majority says that it has been less than a year. So here are the descriptive statistics of PMS compliance. So the descriptive statistics highlight how the respondents perceive PMS compliance. So as we can see here, this score consolidates the generally favorable assessments across the individual items, reflecting a positive overall perception of PMS compliance as a beneficial factor of organizational performance. So moving on to the descriptive statistics of the organizational growth or the Y, variable Y. So as we can see here, the PMS compliance has significantly contributed to the organizational growth. The membership growth, as we can see on the data right here, achieved an average score of 4.0, and access to resource and the frequency of activity score is 3.8, and this result indicate that structure compliance improves visibility and resource acquisition, fostering overall growth in the student organization. Moving on to the C variable, this is the governance effectiveness. As we can see here, this cumulative score consolidates the favorable views on the both governance efficiency and the decision-making effectiveness, highlighting the perceived benefits of PMS compliance in strengthening organizational governance. Moving on to the variable A, the member engagement. So, as we can see here, the cumulative score of member engagement A is 15 with a standard deviation of 2.7. This overall score reflects a favorable level of member engagement associated with the adherence of the PMS system. And the descriptive statistic gain for the last variable, which is the transaction cost. So so as we can see here, this cumulative score highlight again generally favorable assessment of the trade-offs associated with the PMS compliance. Here are the validity tests. As we can see here, all of the relationship strength between the variable are strong and statistically significant. Here are the reliability testing. So all variables, including the PMS compliance, organizational growth, governance effectiveness, member engagement, and the transaction cost were tested for their reliability. So the Conbrads alpha, as we can see in this table, whole table right here, depends is range between 0.78 until 0.87, indicating the high internal consistency for all survey constructs. And disaster normality and multicollinearity test for the first hypothesis. So the first hypothesis tested were whether PMS compliance increases the transaction cost. The results shows that there are a strong positive correlation between PMS compliance and the transaction cost, and frequent reporting and audit significantly contributed to the higher administrative burdens. So this confirms that the compliance system activities imposing a measurable transaction cost on the organization. And for the hypothesis two, so the second hypothesis examine whether the higher transaction costs negatively impact the leadership and creativity. It is revealed that there are a negative correlation between transaction cost and leadership development, and it is increased compliance effort divert resources away from leadership activities and creative initiatives. So this data support the hypothesis that this transaction costs hinder the key developmental goals. For hypothesis three, the third hypothesis, as we know, tested whether the governance effectiveness moderates the relationship between the PMS compliance and the organizational structure. So these results will indicate the effective governance significantly reducing, I'm sorry, the negative impacts of the transaction costs with a moderation effect. So this suggests that the strong governance structures will help organizations to balance compliance demands with leadership and engagement goals. So these are the correlation for the hypothesis. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So there are a strong positive correlation for the hypothesis one. This indicates that the compliance will significantly contribute to the growth through increased membership, activities, and the resource access. For the hypothesis two, I think this data show a very sound or maybe strong positive correlation was found, showing that compliance activities significantly increasing the administrative burdens. So these are the hypothesis three, and this is for the hypothesis four. So a negative correlation for the hypothesis three was observed, suggesting that the higher the transaction costs hinder leadership development and creativity. And the fourth one, the governance effectiveness as a moderator. So the governance effectiveness had a positive correlation, indicating that the effective governance mitigates some negative impacts of the compliance. This finding established clear relationship between PMS compliance, governance, transaction costs, and organizational outcomes, setting the stage for more deeper analysis. So these are the regression tests. These are for the first hypothesis. This for the second one, and this for the third one, and this is for the fourth one, where the PMS compliance and governance effectiveness as a predictor of the organizational growth. Moving on to the discussion, as we already finished all of the data analysis. So maybe I'm gonna dive deep or maybe dig deep, yeah, into this one. So the increased frequency for the hypothesis one, the analysis confirms a statistically significant positive relationship between PMS compliance and transaction costs. This is consistent with the transaction cost economics, which highlights how administrative activities like reporting and audits increase coordination costs. So the second hypothesis, this hypothesis was partially supported, while a positive correlation between PMS compliance and the member engagement was observed. The expected negative impact on leadership development and creativity was not directly addressed. So these findings are aligning with previous studies such as Klein et al., which noted that the higher transaction costs often restrict resource allocation for developmental activities. The third hypothesis, so the regression analysis shows a strong correlation between the variable X and Y. sorry, the X and Z. So there are strong internal governance enables student organization to balance compliance demands with developmental goals. And the fourth and the last hypothesis, it shows that there are positive correlation between the PMS compliance and the organizational growth that will indicate that the bureaucracy does not necessarily stifle creativity or the leadership. So correlation between theoretical framework and analysis. So this is how I correlate between the theoretical framework in the previous slide and the analysis. So as we can see here in the institutional theory, the positive correlation between PMS compliance and governance effectiveness confirms that the formal reporting, financial audits, and structure activities enhance procedural clarity and leadership accountability. However, the imposition of rigid PMS metrics often leads to goal displacement. For example, student organization prioritize uh, think frequent low impact events over innovative initiatives to meet compliance demands. And the second theory is the NPM. So this demonstrates that structural accountability will foster a visibility and operational credibility. However, compliance-driven growth often comes at the cost of the flexibility. So moving on to the transaction economics, so high administrative burdens, right? Such as frequent reporting and audit preparation were a significant challenge noted in the analysis, as we can see. So these burdens detracted from the core mission of fostering leadership and innovation, which is aligned with the H1 and the H2, as elevated transaction costs led to compliance fatigue. So this will reduce member morale and participation, underscoring the adverse effects of misaligned governance practices on voluntary organizations and the moderating role of governance effectiveness. So as we can see right here, organization with streamlined governance process manage compliance demands more efficiently. However, as we can see on the data, despite these adaptations, the rigidity of the PMS frameworks constrain the flexibility necessary for fostering innovation and creativity. This highlight the urgent need for systemic reforms to balance compliance with developmental goals. So, moving on to the final chapter, the chapter 5, there is the conclusion and recommendations. So the conclusion and recommendations, the first one is the higher transaction cost. PMS compliance leads to higher transaction costs, which divert the resources away from leadership, development, and creative initiatives. And the second one, while PMS compliance enhances the member engagement, rising transaction costs will hinder leadership development and creativity. The third one is strong internal governance will moderate the PMS challenges, minimizing the adverse effects on leadership and peer collaboration. And the last one of the conclusion is bureaucratization does not inherently stifle growth of or creativity, rather it reveals a nuanced relationship requiring balance between the compliance and the developmental priorities. And there are five recommendations that I give for future researchers. So the first one is identifying methods to balance the PMS compliance demands with resource allocations, conducting studies tracking for the long-term impact of PMS compliance, expanding research across universities. As we know, I only research on the FWGM. The fourth one is investigate how informal governance can coexist with PMS frameworks. And the last one is investigate how informal governance can coexist with the PMS frameworks to foster creativity and leadership. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, that's it for the slide or maybe the presentation that I have given to you. For whoever watching, I appreciate your time and your consideration to digging deep and maybe diving more into the PMS compliance and my research on my final thesis. I think that's it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, and God bless you.